Well, hello and welcome back to the most gorgeously delicious art channel on YouTube. It is so gorgeously delicious, you might want to stay forever. And it's presented by the gorgeously delicious me. So, if you want to do some gorgeously delicious artwork and draw along with me, let's do it. I feel shy now. Right, well, one of the challenges of doing a drawing in this format is that you have about 20 minutes to do a drawing, and you're judged on your time. You're not judged on your time, you're judged on the outcome, which is very, 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 very difficult to control. But we're going to kind of get into one of my loves is drawing birds, and I do love drawing birds, and I'm going to try and do a bird for you today. And we are working in color because we are working up to this kind of auction off of some of the artwork, and we're going to start with a nice big juicy gorgeous splash. And what I'm going to try and attempt to do is is to bleed in some colors while I am working on it, and the attempt is to try to kind of get a nice kind of bird texture to it. And I do kind of find a lot of times with birds that you have some kind of like textures built up over the shape of the character. Now I'm going to have what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to dampen down some of the ink as it just caught it there, as it starts to bleed away. And it's nice to have ink that's wet, but it's not nice to have ink that's going to bleed. And what happens is if it starts to bleed is that you lose control. Now I'm trying to at the moment just build up a body, and I'm trying to build up a body to kind of work from with the colors in this kind of confined. That's too close. See, here I've tried to use another color, but it's very close, and it hasn't really worked to my advantage. Although I will try and work it, and then I'll try and add something to it later. I'm trying to get some wings, and I'm going to try and bring in some yellow to see if the yellow will kind of, there you go, that's exactly what I wanted. The yellow has worked with the pink, and the yellow has kind of given it that bird texture, and the bird texture is something that's desperately needed in this type of drawing. And already I'm starting to get very, very excited just by mixing up the textures, mixing up those colors, for the simple reason that it starts to have more of a natural thing when the colors bleed together. That's very difficult to control. Adding too much will just make it flood. So if you put a pink on top of a yellow and there's too much pink, it will just destroy the whole feeling of the yellow. So again, I'm using my tissues very, very sparingly here, just to soak up some of the excess. And what that will also do is that will bring back some of the base color, which in this case here is the yellow. Now I've also found that it really does depend also on about what type of ink you are using. There's so many different types of inks on the market. And some of those inks don't like each other. And what you will find is that, and in many cases you will find that the ink kind of battles with it, and it's kind of like a mixing of oil and water. You have this kind of fighting with it, and that's where you start to have some of this color coming across, and that's what I really love. I'm going to try, well, I'll wait for that to dry, but I'll get into drawing some face, a face on this delicious bird. Now at the moment we are doing this thing on eBay where we are trying to kind of sell off. Well, selling off sounds so horrible. I'm actually trying to I'm trying to find some people to look after my artwork. That sounds like a much nicer type of idea. I like the idea of somebody who's going to love and cherish the artwork that we're doing in this channel. I don't want these to be just like some kind of art print that you've bought and you kind of throw on the side. I'm hoping that these will mean something to somebody. And I'm kind of almost in a way of saying, if you think you're going to love this and you're going to put it on your wall, and as you're walking out to make your coffee you go, oh my god, I love that, that's beautiful, as I do when I look at my prints on the wall of Ronald Searle. I kind of go, oh. Every time I walk into the studio in the morning and I look across, I love those pictures. I have four prints, well, not really prints, but and I love them. I love them so much, and every time I see them it makes me want to draw, and that's what I'm trying to get. I'm trying to give this inspiration to whoever buys these prints, and I'm hoping that when they see this print on the wall that they will have that desire to draw, that inspiration to go and bring love and excitement into this world. And art does that for people. Art brings this incredible love into the world. It brings this incredible excitement into the world. And it has been the driving force for my life, has been seeing other artists, and I love that. So even from the days of animation, which is where I started off, I would fall in love with amazing artists like Milt Kahl and Ollie Johnson, Frank Thomas, all these people. And Milt Kahl used to draw. He did things like Shere Khan and things like that. And you're watching these as drawings, and they're rolling all the drawings, and you can see the movement. And that was a big inspiration for me as a young child, as a young artist. It inspired me, and I'm hoping that this channel will be the inspiration for other people. I'm hoping that this channel will grow with people, grow with the love from other artists. And that's a very difficult thing to achieve. It's very, very difficult to kind of control. So by doing this channel, I'm hoping to share more love for the art, more love for this feeling that builds as the more you do it, the more excitement builds. The more you do it, the more you want to do it. And it is one of those incredible, I'm going to say feeling, because it's not really like you can start it off as a hobby, but it will it will become a part of you, you know. It'll become a part of you that kind of needs to be fed, you know. It needs to grow. It's like having a plant. And the more you kind of look after it and trim it and care for it and love it and talk to it and sing to it, the more it's going to love you, the more it's going to grow, the more it's going to become a part of your life, the more beautiful it becomes, the more beautiful you want it to become. And that is exactly how art is. And that's exactly how I feel about art. And it's exactly the way I feel about drawing every single day. Coming out to draw something in this channel. And what I love is the fact that I don't know what I'm going to draw until something appears. I don't know what this bird is going to look like until it's completed, until it's finished, and until the last drop of ink falls on the page. Until then, it's me exploring and it's me finding something. And whether you're a hobbyist or whether you're a professional person, I hope this channel will give you something. I hope this channel will just share some of the love and the passion and the excitement that I get by this piece of wood and a little bit of metal on the end. A simple tool. But you dip it in ink and it becomes this magical weapon. Becomes this magical wand almost, you know. And in a couple of seconds I'm already starting to put this bird together. I'm starting to feel the bird kind of growing. And the only thing you need to be careful about is wetness. Wetness of the ink. Wetness of this black ink, as I use quite a lot of ink in every drawing, and that's something that leaves the paper very wet, and it's something that is very easy to bleed into especially when you're trying to add color in these parameters of 20 minutes, 15 minutes. You're trying to draw and to get everything to dry and to kind of work together. It's very, very, very difficult. But that's what makes it a challenge. So this week we will be putting some, not prints, we will be putting up some original drawings, and for you to buy, for you to have, for you to hang on the wall and hopefully look after. I'm hoping to build this into an inspirational type of feeling, an inspirational piece of artwork. Now I'm going to try desperately. I'm too eager to get in there and to add more to what's going on here, and I'm trying to also, something I will talk about is that I've drawn a very large head, and the way that my mind works is that it's a very large head, so it needs a very small neck. So I'm constantly playing with this idea of opposites. So I'm going to try and draw a very thin neck. I'm going to try and give it a nice kind of stripy neck, just to make it stand out, to make it stand away from the bird. Otherwise you have this very big body and a very big head, and you have a very thin neck. It might disappear, might make it very kind of difficult to understand. So I'm going to be very careful here, and I'm going to try and I don't know why, but I keep using and reusing the same piece of tissue. I've got lots of them, you know, and I very rarely seem to pick up a clean, dry piece. Bad habits. Bad habits. That's all it is. Right, I'm going to just soften that down because I really want to kind of get a little bit of a feathery haircut to him. Lovely. And already he's got this lovely kind of gangly type of bird. And that's very, 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 very attractive. And now, a lot of people will tell you that when you're using ink, you should never use it from the little pipette, but I have to. When people say don't, my brain is going, go on, go on, go on, do it, do it. I know, very childish, I know, but it's something that's a part of my mind now, a part of my way of thinking. And then I'm going to try and bleed that back into the head. And that's where things start to go wrong. So that's when things start to now there was a little bit of yellow from the previous drawing, a little bit of yellow in the brush, and what it's done is it's added this incredibly beautiful element of green. Again, this is something I was not planning, and again it's part of my messy nature, if you want if you want to call it that. And what it has done is it has kind of added this lovely element to the hair. And it's kind of got this lovely light kind of green head, and then these blue kind of plumes coming off the head, which is absolutely beautiful. And I love it so much that I'm really tempted to add that green to the neck that I've just drawn. And again, I've got to dry that neck down to make it work. And in a lot of cases, the black comes to get me, but in this case, so far so good. What a beautiful color that green is, and that is a green that it's a mistake. It's an accidental mistake. It's one of those kind of things that, you know, you pick up a paintbrush and it's got some yellow in it, you dip it into the blue and it builds this green. It gives you this gift. And in this case, it is a gift. In this case, it's an absolutely beautiful gift. I'm just balancing it up because that green is just so delicious, just so beautiful. So, again, I'm going to try, and I'm being very silly really here with trying to bring in a yellow on top of a black, but I'm just going to try. And in most cases I wouldn't do this but with the time restraints with these videos. Okay, a little bit more at the bottom, where I'm trying to do a demonstration of a style, and that sometimes that just doesn't work. So, you know, the way to do this is to give it time and give it time to dry. And I'm going to be very brave here. There you go. Exactly what I didn't want to do. And that's the problem, that the black will come in very ferocious if you kind of step on it. If you kind of add your yellow to a black and it hasn't dried, it will just destroy your picture. And I'm trying to be very brave. Again. Not bad. It's been very forgiving. Just as I said it turned unforgiving. I'll try and pick that up later. And what I will do is I'll just touch in there, because it's very sensitive on the for everywhere else I'm not so bothered, but on the eye it's a little bit sensitive. In fact, I would probably say that the only place where things are very sensitive is around the eye. You want it to be as near perfect as possible for the eyes, because when you're putting a drawing or a piece of artwork together, the first thing you're going to look at is the eyes of the character. So I'm just going to get down to, I might actually go in and play around a little bit more with it. I might actually get to the point where I come back in and add a little bit more feathers and textures to that at a later stage when everything has dried down, as it's still so wet. But it gives you a very good basic idea of what this picture is going to be, and this picture will be up on the for sale pile this week. And I will try to do a few more birds, because I have got a few A5 drawings to do, and they're very small. It's like drawing on a postage stamp almost. So I will try to do a few more birds, trying to get that lovely character coming across. But if you're new to the channel, I hope this excites you. You can see that there's some bleeding coming through there with the black and the yellow, but that's a very easy thing to fix. But it was very important for me to kind of put the basics of this character, and you will see the final finished thing in the next day or so. As I will put a video of some of the for sale pieces. There's already a few. There's a beautiful chicken that I did, and there's a very strange man there. I don't know if you can see him. The light. So there's lots of pieces of artwork coming together, and I'm really looking forward to putting some pieces together. This will be a lovely piece once it's been given time to dry. But I'm very impatient anyway. I'm extremely impatient. You know, I do kind of want to put down a permanent ink, and that's what I'm using. I'm using Indian ink, which is permanent, but I do want it to dry immediately, which is very, very, very difficult. Very difficult. But it is something that I really do love. I love. Excuse me. And that is the basics of this drawing, and please come back and see it all finished up, as it will be really quite beautiful once the elements have dried down, and it will be, as I said, one of the pieces that come up for sale in the next few days. I will just touch those little black bits. Again, it's kind of, it almost adds an extra texture to it. Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. And that is today's colourful bird. And as I said, this will be, come back and see it in a couple of days' time. I'm kind of doing things at stages as I'm doing the drawings, and I'm putting things down. There's another one there. It was like a little kind of a very pretty kind of angel that we did. And again, it's something that just needs time for some of these drawings. Let the inks dry, let the things settle, and then do the next level. But this will be a beautiful piece. And I will do a few more birds. So if you like birds, come back. And if you like today's feeling from the channel, if you like today's passion, if you think you would like to watch some more, please come back. We have about 3,000 videos here already, and it's going to grow to a huge channel. So have a beautiful day, and I will see you back here for some more drawings, more excitement, more challenges with your art. And I'm hoping that over this period of time you will grow as an artist. You will grow with your kind of bravery about trying things and making mistakes. Don't worry about making mistakes. People get too kind of wound up and too run down by their own mistakes, and mistakes sometimes lead to beauty, and I feel that's today's what it is. It's beautiful. So I'll see you again very, very soon. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for subscribing, and I'll see you back for more drawings. Have a beautiful day. Keep drawing.